All right. Hey, what episode is this?
16. Like,
The Peyton Manning episode.
it really is the Peyton Manning episode because we have choked like 6 times trying to start this one, just like he did against Florida every year and in every bowl game.
Oh my gosh, that was a jab.
People
he's
overrate college Peyton Manning.
He's 2-1 in the Super Bowl. So
Yeah. Pro Peyton Manning's one of the greatest quarterbacks in history. College Peyton Manning couldn't win a big game, and as soon as he left, they won the national championship. So
it's because he didn't have that 5 head there.
Still 4.
He just had that 4,
maybe 3,
4 banger,
3.5.
What's on the docket for today, bro? It's me and you. We're back. We're back to our show.
Bad boys.
Bad boys back to life.
We got the NBA playoffs starting, so we're going to do some play-in recap and some predictions.
Nice.
Pain. Had some Champions League delight. Little Champions League recap. We got the Masters last weekend. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
Oh, yeah.
You know how many times did you watch the Masters and you were like, God, why is my grass not that green?
Pretty much every time.
Yeah. And then a little bit of last week in history, a little new thing I want to try to see if it takes off.
That'll be interesting to me. A new segment is what you're saying.
Yes.
Well, let's jump right into the NBA stuff, bro. We had the Los Angeles Lakers beat the New Orleans Pelicans.
LeBron James.
It was a little unfortunate. Mr. Zion went out late in the game,
bro,
which I was kind of like, that might have made it a little bit more competitive, but my boy pulled out the win, and now they got to see the Nuggets in the first round.
The Nuggies.
And then Golden State, your boy Clay put up a goose egg.
He did. And I still love that guy.
They're Dunsky. So Sacramento and Pelicans are left with Pelicans with no Zion. I'm thinking Sacramento's probably going to win that and be the 8th seed.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I had to guess.
So that would put Thunder, Kings, Lakers, Nuggies. An interesting 3-6 matchup in T-Wolves Suns, who can disappoint us more. And then Mavs Clippers, which is the one I'm super amped for. Even if I wasn't a Mavs fan, that's the one I'm amped for. I think every basketball fan should be amped for.
Let's start with Mavs Clippers, and then we'll talk about the series by series, kind of choose a prediction and the reason why.
Tell me why.
So supposedly Kawhi is injured.
Yeah, is it a hamstring again?
Yeah. It's the hamstring. I think it's the hamstring, and I saw some of the odds changing, but I don't know what to think, man. I'm scared. A lot of people think they're like, Luka destroys the Clippers. I'm like, he's 0-2 against them in the playoffs. He does play well against them. He does have Kyrie now. To your point, it's a lot of different players in this series. But the Clippers they're legit. I mean, they've shown that they can be the best team in the NBA, that 25-4 stretch or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of who shows up. But I'm scared to pick the Mavs to win it.
Perfect love casts out fear.
Where are you at, brother? What do you think's going to happen?
So first of all, the Kawhi injury obviously is going to dictate a lot.
Correct.
So even with, let's assume he's at 100%, if this was the matchup week 1 of the season, I'd say Clippers in 4, just because of how bad the Mavericks were inside and how little sense their lineup made. The trades at the trade deadline have really solidified them defensively. On the rebounding end, they went from a bottom 5 team to a top 10 team since the trade. Lots of dunks, lots of really cool one give and go and lobs, which are always super entertaining. We're in the top 2 team in dunks now.
Right.
Mavs in 6. That's my put it down right. Even if Kawhi is 100%, which I don't know. Now, obviously, if he misses time, I think the Mavs could actually win it faster. Obviously, like when one of the best players in the league is out, that's an advantage. The Clippers getting older. They are very good though, but I do think, and both things can be true. Like Luka did kill the Clippers, and he's 0-2 because the team wasn't very good around him. Like they weren't ready to win yet. So this year, I think they're ready.
The only thing that makes me hesitant to say the Clippers would win the series is they have Russell Westbrook and they have Paul George, who at times we either see playoff P or we see him disappear in the playoffs.
Yep.
And then the Kawhi injury thing. It's, I think it's going to be a 7-game series.
Ooh.
And I don't know if I want to pick a team, man.
Just going to let it ride?
I'm going to let it ride. I've picked a team for the rest of the series, but I can't confidently say Dallas is going to win the series. I think it's going to be a great series, though, and I'm looking forward to watching it. That's probably going to be the most exciting first round to me, other than my boy,
LeBron.
Nuggets Lakers. Now, I am picking. I guarantee I'm picking the Lakers to beat the Nuggets.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's going to be a 6 or 7 game series. Allegedly, Murray is hurt as well.
How bad?
Nuggets. I don't know. I think it's kind of a day-to-day thing.
Okay.
They've been limiting his minutes the last few games. You know, that also could have just been end-of-season stuff, prepping him for the start of the playoffs. But I got a weird feeling about it. I think for a team to completely dominate LeBron in back-to-back years and not be the Golden State Warriors with KD, we just haven't seen it. And we also haven't seen LA beat the Nuggets in the last 7 games. They swept them in the playoffs last year, and then I think they were 0-3 against them in the season this year. But I got a weird confidence. I got a bias towards LeBron, of course. And
he is right up there.
I think they can put together a series. I'm confident in AD, Austin Reeves. I think they're going to make it happen.
So I'm going to say they win 1 game and Nuggets in 5. I'm seeing it almost the totally opposite way. I think them winning the play-in was kind of their best effort. Like you said, I'd like to have seen Zion play all 48, but everyone would. But you got to play with the players that are there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like this season, it's not that it seems...
Yeah.
LeBron's got a lot of skins on the wall, right? He can he can hit the brakes sometimes and rest some possessions because he's a 4-time champion. But the problem is that seems to rub off on a lot of the team when it shouldn't. And so it seems like their attitude this season has been kind of like that. Okay, we're just going to coast a few games. All right, let's make the play-in. All right, let's win the play-in. And it's not like they're peaking right now. They just kind of are. So I don't see them going very far.
They peak when he peaks, which is is the pro and con of him. His energy, like you're saying, when it's up, you can see D'Lo, all those other guys, their energy's up. Their game starts to peak. When he takes a rest, everybody takes a rest. Which I think he would probably prefer if everyone else played hard the whole year and he could just do that because he's older.
Right. He tell to hustle, dang it.
Yeah, it hasn't worked out like that. But we'll see what happens. I think if I'm speaking from a normal human being's perspective, I think you're probably right. It'll most likely be Denver in 5, but I've got a weird feeling, man. I think LA can pull it out.
Follow your gut.
Follow your gut.
So what, let's see here. Oh, the 3-6 matchup. I know, unless you wanted to talk more about.
No, that. I'm good on that one. I think, I was going to move on to Phoenix, Minnesota.
Okay, so what's interesting about that, the Suns have won the last 4 matchups between those two teams. And they cooked them twice. So they beat them by 7, beat them by 18, beat them by 10, beat them by 20. And Minnesota, as a state franchise, Twin Cities, it's a choking area. It's a choking hazard.
Yeah. Right.
So I still think, man.
I'm going Phoenix. I mean, it's a done deal for me. I do not bet against KD. I saw live in the flesh one of his best playoff performances ever
Which
back when he was in Brooklyn, and he scored I think it was 51 against the Bucks, Game 5. It wasn't the Game 7 toe on the line game.
Oh,
but after that game, I was like, I'm never betting against KD in the playoffs. I also like Book and Brad Beal starting to pick it up a little bit too.
Okay, and they have been playing really well recently. So beat the Clippers, beat the Kings, beat the Wolves twice, beat the Cavs. So I mean, they had a hard schedule down the stretch and seemed to pick it up. Yeah, I'm gonna go Suns in 6. I trust I've watched enough Viking football and Minnesota Wild hockey and Minnesota Timberwolf basketball to say not gonna happen. So are you writing down our predictions or should I?
Yeah, I'm writing them down. That's what I was just doing.
So
I wanted to skim over the easy ones. I think Boston's going to beat whoever gets the 8th seed.
Boston in 4. That one's easy for me. Oh, I feel like we're skipping one of the. Oh, Thunder in 4. That's the other one, or 5.
Oh yeah, I think
whoever
Thunder
they play,
in 4
they'll slap them.
So my, I guess my biggest take for the West is if LA beats Denver, it's obviously going to be the best thing for OKC, because I think then whoever LA plays in the second round, they're going to lose. They're not going to make it out of the second round. But if they could knock Denver out of the way for OKC or Phoenix, I mean, not counting out the Mavs totally, but maybe I am. I'm starting to get, I don't know what it is. I'm leaning a lot towards OKC now.
Oh, I was going to say OKC, whoever wins the Dallas Clippers series is going to go to the Western Conference Finals.
Golly.
Yeah, I think whoever wins that will beat OKC. I think it's just not going to quite be their year yet.
Yeah, maybe they get out of the first round. They learn some stuff, but you don't think they'll go on a deep run?
No, I don't. I think, like I said, I just think it's their youth. This happens a lot to teams where they have a great regular season, then they get hit in the playoffs because they're not ready for it. So that's my thought process on it. Just a feeling. We'll see.
Think about there was a young team with KD, Harden, and Westbrook.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
Finals. And then they got destroyed by the King,
and they never really got back. I mean, they got close, but they didn't get back to the finals.
The most boring series to me, the one I could care less about, is because I don't know why I just hate both of these teams, is the 76ers and the Knicks.
I wrote down that for you as soon as you started talking. I wrote Knicks 76ers.
Yeah. Knicks are going to win the series, I believe. I don't think Joel's 100% yet, even though it is hard for me to bet against Nick Nurse, their coach, because I love him. I think Brunson's going to turn it on enough to win one series. I don't know if they go further than the first round.
Here's a quick reminder, by the way. Earlier this year, the 76ers beat the Knicks 79-73.
That's a tight one. Defensive game.
I mean, can you imagine that in the playoffs? You're like, brick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a very entertaining one. I think the Knicks will win that as well.
Yeah. Brunson turns it on in the playoffs. It sucks that he doesn't have Randall. He's out for the year. Because I think
Thibodeau
they could do some damage.
Runs a lot of minutes, so I don't think they'll. I don't know, because I actually have the Pacers over the Bucks.
Ooh.
In the first round there, because if Giannis is out for a few games, I think the Pacers can split in Milwaukee and then win both. I think they'll get up 3-1, and I mean they're a high scoring team, and the Bucks haven't been able to really get their defensive efficiency back. So that one I actually think. So I'm picking both the 6 seeds to upset the 3 seeds, which is a rarity in basketball.
Yeah, it really is.
Basketball.
I got the Bucks picked, and it's kind of similar to your take on OKC, even though Indiana does have Rick Carlisle, who we both like. Mm-hmm. Shout out to his time in Dallas, Halliburton, and then they got Siakam. I think they don't have enough. I could see them losing. It was kind of like what was the tournament at the beginning of the year? What do they call it?
The in-season tournament?
The in-season tournament by the championship whenever Indy played LA. I think that was almost kind of like a preview of what they'll look like in the playoffs. So like, they're just not ready enough for the moment yet.
Yeah.
But if anything, that would be the upset in the East. Just because Doc is going to have a reason, an excuse with Giannis being out.
It's not his fault. It's not Giannis's fault.
That was incredible.
Happy retirement, Blake Griffin, by the way.
Say it again.
Happy retirement, Blake Griffin.
Yeah, shout out to him. Man, Lob City was awesome.
It really was. It was an era. I mean, it didn't win anything, but it was a Sports Center era.
Yeah. I'm going to go Bucks. I like your pick. Yeah, that's a good one. So we got OKC beating probably Sacramento.
Yep.
Indy Bucks we split on. Clippers Dallas. You got Dallas. I'm taking the field. Boston's going to beat probably Miami. It could be Chicago though.
Well, I'll say Butler is out, I think, so it might be Chicago.
Yeah, if it's Chicago for sure, it's going to be a 4-0 sweep. Knicks win. Nuggets, LA, Phoenix wins. Who do you have in Orlando, Cleveland?
Well, this was a coin flip. I'm going to go Orlando just because I haven't seen them been good in a while. I have no reason for it besides that.
See, I love this one's a hard one for me. I have Cleveland picked just because I got really hot on them like 2 or 3 months ago when they were killing it.
Yeah.
But I freaking love this Orlando team. Like they're young, they play defense, they play hard. And I did like a deep dive on them maybe in like January or something. Or I just watched like 5 to 10 of their games. And yeah, I love them. I think they could beat them.
Hopefully so. I'm going to say I like it when like teams like Indiana, Orlando, I like people who haven't made a run in a minute. Like when Milwaukee won it, I like teams making runs that haven't made a run in a minute. So I would like to see them do that. So who's your overall champion? So we don't have to pick second round, third round, but right now, who are you picking to win it all?
I got Boston.
All right.
Yeah, I would have. Everything in me says I'm just so biased now. I had the Nuggets pick to repeat, but now that they're going to lose to LA in the first round,
yeah,
I think it's going to be Boston. And I think Boston's due one. It's like it feels like it's their turn.
That's kind of my feeling too. I don't like the Celtics. Like I don't hate them. I just don't care for them. I don't care for the mystique. I don't care for, when they won 12 championships when there was only 5 teams and a guy like me could start at power forward. Like I was like, all right, cool. You won a lot of championships. It's cool. It's a great franchise. But I agree with you. It does seem like it's their turn. I looked at all the expert picks today that I could find, and almost every single one of them had Boston versus Denver. So no one had OKC. No one had Minnesota. Everyone had Denver out of the West that I saw. So that was interesting because that's also who I have. And I think who you had till you're like, LeBron's going to take it. So,
and I'll change my decision as soon as they lose in the first round. I'll go back to Denver, Boston. I have to be that way right now.
Gotta be.
Give me a pass. Yeah.
Speaking of passing, time for soccer. Goal. How's that for a transition?
Love it.
Little Champions League delight.
Yeah, so your team won on penalty kicks?
They did. Yesterday? So okay, this one stats are overrated.
Don't throw a video up.
I'm not.
We're gonna get okay.
I'm not. Stats are overrated. I was gonna look at the stats, sir. So this is my someone called it score effects, but basically what had happened was this is like when you say, the Cowboys are undefeated when Emmitt Smith runs for 100 yards. So they should just hand him the ball a lot. And it's like, no, that's not exactly how it works. They hand him the ball because they're winning. So look at these stats real quick. Man City had 33 shots to Real Madrid's 8. Why can't I click on it? Highlight. Oh, well.
Zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm working on it. There we go. Can you see that a little better?
Yeah.
Oh, a little bit too much. There we go.
There you go.
So shots. Manchester City, 33. That's like attempts. 8 for Real Madrid. 9 shots on target for Man City, 3 for Real Madrid. Possession, how long they have the ball, 68% of the time, Man City. Passes, 900 to 450. Fouls, 15 Man City, right? Yellow cards about the same. Corner kicks, 18-1.
Holy crap.
And so you look at that, you're like, oh my gosh, Manchester City dominated.
Yeah.
But not exactly, because what had happened was, this is the second leg, Real Madrid scores in the 12th minute.
Okay.
So 12 minutes in, and let's be clear, Manchester City's at home, and they are the defending champs, and they are a little bit better. Like, they just are.
Right.
They also haven't lost a home game in like a year. Like, they're very good at home. So Real Madrid scores early to take the lead. And so they're like, okay, you have the ball. Make those passes. They were allowing them shots from outside the box. So there was a lot of these shots that were low risk. There were a lot of these shots that were deflected, and like 8 shots on target is good. That means like the goalie had to make 7 saves because he'll get like one in. But like there was just 2 of them that I was like, that's a great save. But the rest of them, you're like, okay, pretty casual. And so this game was a cycle. Manchester City would have the ball. They would lose the ball to Madrid. Madrid would try to come up. Manchester City would take it back, take a shot. It would deflect, go corner kick. They'd loop the corner in. Madrid would clear it. City has the ball. Do that same cycle again. It was just over and over and over again. It was great.
Just wearing them down?
Yeah, they were trying to wear them down. So Madrid was playing back, kind of not like prevent, but like a little bit further back. But then as Manchester City kept creeping forward with possession, they really pinned Madrid back, basically to where they were just defending 10 people in their own box. And so they had very few, and their goal was kind of off a deflection. They just hit the guy in the foot, and then it deflected off the defender. Boom, goal, tie game. And then Madrid was hanging on for dear life because there was 20 minutes left. You've been defending the whole game. You've been on the back foot the whole game. It's really hard to flip the switch being, okay, let's be aggressive.
Right.
But they did turn it on, and then a little bit, and then penalties come around, and it's so interesting, the psychology of penalties, because you have guys. So there's this guy, Lucas Vasquez, career backup. He's going up there to take a penalty kick, and he's just juggling the ball.
Yeah.
Spinning on his finger. He's got the whole world watching him. Puts it down, looks at the ref, blows whistle, buries it. Same thing. Nacho, guy who's like the 4th string center back, only because 2 guys tore their ACLs, even and 1 guy suspended. They put someone else there. They put a midfielder at defense because they're like, you're better than him. He goes up. He's my age, and I think he's too old, which is sad. Same thing, just buries it. This mentality. So, did Manchester City dominate? No. They were better, don't get me wrong, but a lot of those stats are biased towards the fact that the score was the same. It's the same way if a quarterback throws for 500 yards. Well, it's like, well, because they were down by 14 the whole game.
Right.
So those type of things.
They wanted it to be a 1-1 game, essentially.
Yeah, well, they wanted 1-0. Like City scored late, but yeah, they wanted it to be. Yeah. They wanted to pack the back and just not get scored on, and they almost pulled it off completely. But they did end up winning in extra time, in penalties. They almost won it in extra time, which is crazy. The defender had like a random ball bounce to him, or like there's a deflection. The defender runs up, and he has a shot from 6 yards away and hits it over the bar. And you're like, that's not the guy to take, but then he's the guy who scored the winner. But it was so delightful as a Real Madrid fan because we win. Barcelona chokes. So Barcelona has a history of... What's that?
What was their score?
They lost 6-4 total in the 2 legs. They were up by 1. They were coming home. They scored again, so they're up by 2. And if you know anything about Barcelona, 3 of their Champions Leagues are like, those who hate us don't count them, because they had horrendous refereeing decisions in their favor that that completely changed the game. Like, Pepe got a red card when he didn't even touch the guy. Like, the guy flopped, and the replay shows he didn't even touch him. So that type of thing. And so Barcelona guy pushes a guy down from behind on a breakaway, which is an automatic red, and he gets a red, and you're like, oh, that changes a lot. And then eventually it's hard to play a man down, and they end up choking that one away. And then Atletico, the other rival for Madrid, they choked away a lead too. They gave up 2 goals late, and you're like, "Wow, this is great!" All the teams I hate just went out, and all the teams I love won. What a great day! This should happen more. I love sports. This is awesome.
When's the semifinals start? So the quarterfinals are done now, right?
Yes, and they were epic. That was probably the best quarterfinals ever, because normally there's like at least one matchup that's like trash, but all of them were 1 goal difference or the semifinals, I think they're next month. No, April 30th.
April
first
30th.
Leg, and then May
Bayern.
8th. Yeah.
Man, so your boys may do it again.
Yeah, this would be the 15th if we win it, which no one else has more than 7, which is crazy.
Wow. When's the last year that, was it 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was an epic run.
Who's the best player on the team now?
Probably Jude Bellingham's the Englishman is probably the most likable because he looks like a Greek god. He's huge, he's strong, and he scores a bunch of goals, like just bangers, but he's also like super humble.
Yeah.
And he has a cool celebration. He goes,
yeah.
Which all those things are awesome. But yeah, he's just like, when they're asking him questions, he's like, the team played great today, and the team, it takes all of us. You're like, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have a daughter, but you could date her.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to tune in. I tuned into the quarterfinals, the second game, but I'm going to tune into the semis so I can contribute a little bit more. I'm not Champions League. I didn't realize it's so, obviously it's huge in Europe, but my brother watches every game. I'm always just like, we'll see what happens.
You got to pick a team. Real Madrid, I recommend because every game is the same. It's mentality. Like they're usually, sometimes they're the best team, but it's like this. They just win because, like, okay, Manchester City because City won last year, and so they displayed the trophy on the field before the game to like intimidate. And Real Madrid all the players were laughing because they're like, every one of those veterans, they've won it 5 times. And so they're like, oh, you won 1. Good job.
The only, I'm a little bit, I almost want to go with Mbappe, though.
Well, he will probably go to Real Madrid in the summer.
Really?
Yeah. That's the rumor.
Switch?
Okay. Yeah, because that's going to be good for his brand.
Well, that'd be awesome.
Real Madrid's like the Lakers. Like, you got to go there and be a god,
right.
To be a god.
Yeah.
You can be really good somewhere else, but to be a god, you have to go there.
You got to be a soccer god.
I know. Also, annoying point for my own soccer team. I scored 11 last year in 8 games, and I was the leading scorer on the team, which, that happens every few years. I'm usually like...
Pretty solid.
But no one ever posted the goal totals. And now this year, first game I don't score, and I played poorly. And Jay, my friend, he's like, hey, Ibaka leads the team with 2 goals. And then last week I missed the game because we were traveling and I was sick. I was like, all right, goal totals after 2 weeks. I'm like, where was this last year? Where was this last season when I was leading the league in goals? Like, why are we doing this now that I can't find the back of the dang net? So I got to score tonight. Like, desperately need to.
Get it.
Tired of the hate.
Are you playing tonight?
Yeah, I'm playing at 10.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been a long day, and it's going to be even longer. I went to an award ceremony earlier.
Nice.
Yeah, so here's my... I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, you got Teacher of the Year. Show us your star.
Oh, hang on. That's backwards. There we go.
There you go. Sick. Today's a big day for you.
I know. Just
accept your awards, do the pod.
Hopefully score a goal. I grilled burgers.
Nice.
Yeah.
You get a hat trick, dude.
Let's go. It's been a minute since I got a hat trick. The last hat trick I got was against all these guys I played growing up against. It was actually really cool. Like, they all formed a team, and I played against them and with some of them, like all the guys you played up with in rec league and all that, some in select.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I know all these guys. And yeah, I scored a hattie against them. They were like, great game, Ben. I was like,
it's whatever, Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, did you, I know it's been a long, we talked about doing this Monday or Tuesday, but we were both sick.
Oh.
Did you watch the Masters? I never got to hear about what'd you think about the Masters? You were in Atlanta, right?
I was in Atlanta.
You were close.
The winds
crows fly away.
The winds on Friday were absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was
like
wild.
I don't get how anyone shot under par, close to par, anything like that. It was like 20, 30 miles an hour. My hat blew off at one point.
He still shot, I think, 6 under on Friday, which is insane. Is he gonna be the greatest golfer of all time?
No.
Is he gonna be up there with Tiger or no?
The thing about Tiger
is already too late. Like, because Tiger was killing it.
Yeah, how old is Scotty Scheffler? I can't tell. He's one of those
20.
27.
He's like that 20. He's that 27-year-old who looks 40.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really know. Now he's won 2 Masters now at this point, so that's pretty good.
He's won, I think, 3 majors in total, maybe 4. I think he won the Players. That's not technically a major. Did he win the U.S. Open?
I don't think so. I think he's won just 2 majors.
Maybe that's it. Maybe just the 2 Masters.
I mean, it's pretty good. Not gonna lie. He finished second at the PGA and second at the U.S. Open. So second at the PGA last year, second at the U.S. Open the year before.
Yeah.
So yeah, he might have, honestly, because he was Rookie of the Year in 2019.
22. Oh, okay. Let's say 22 was his like breakout year because he won. What's the tournament in Scottsdale? I think he won the Waste Management Open.
Wasted Management. You weren't wrong the first time.
He turned around and won the Masters in 22, and that was his first like big victory. And then he won the what was it called? Here in Austin. I used to go to it. I got it on my cup. I'm thinking the Dell Match Play.
Oh, okay.
Which put him as number 1 in the world. So, but anyways, the first 2 days was Tiger. I thought Tiger was going to do a little something. He made the cut. He was at, I think, either even or 1 over, something like that. He was like in 24th, tied for 24th or something like that. But he just completely dropped off Saturday, Sunday. I felt bad.
Okay, this is the second. I should have put, I predicted this 2 years ago when he played, and I actually said it again this year. I said he was going to make the cut and finish last. And I should have put money on it because I have no idea how that parlays, because he did finish with the highest score overall at plus 15. Because the guys who got cut,
he finished dead last.
And so it's interesting because I don't know how that works. I assume it's like last of the people who the cut and all that, but like
last of the Mohicans,
right?
It's just that I guess it's that hard on his body. It's 4 straight days, and because the first 2 days he looked like a great golfer. I didn't even watch him Saturday. I just saw the score posted, and I was like, "Eesh, he shot like a 10 over."
That's insane. Yeah. Okay, real quick. So why I don't think Scotty Scheffler will be the best golfer in the world. This is Tiger Woods, year by year Masters finish only. 97, first, 98, 8th, 99, 18th, 2000, 5th, 2001, first, 2002, first, 2003, 15th, 2004, 22nd, 2005, first, 2006, third, 2007, second, 2008, second, 2009, 6th, 2010, 4th, 2011, 4th. Like, that was, what is that, 10?
2019 was the next win.
And then, he won it in 2019, but he went like 15 years, mostly top 10.
5, top 10. Yeah.
Yeah, he had 3 outside the top 10, but 2 of those were in the top 20. Like, that consistency over time was amazing.
His world ranking as number 1, the amount of weeks was, I don't think it'll be touched. But Scotty's a beast, man.
What do you think of his swing?
I think it's great. You talking about the little slide the foot?
Yeah, and it seems like he's real on the ankle. It seems like
one thing I noticed too is like he doesn't necessarily have like a lineup on the ball routine. Like when he's approaching the ball, he just kind of like he looks down, at his target, and he just walks up like legs split and like ball lined up on him already. I guess he just like I started thinking about. I don't even know how to put it into words. You know how, like I used to, Sammy Sosa, they talked about like the ball would look like a watermelon to him.
Yeah.
I think he may have some of those weird, like instinctual or, just things going on in his brain and body where he just has a different feel for the game.
Some sort of spatial advantage that.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed too is that he would approach a shot and he would reset very often, mostly because of the wind. but he was like so tuned in to everything. And I was like, his antennas are on a different level than everyone else. Like, he's a great golfer, but he's also got like an instinctual thing that I think is kind of unexplainable. And the level of calm, like,
yeah.
And the 2 Masters wins. I mean, it's almost like Tim Duncan-esque with like his approach to the game. It's boring because he doesn't get like emotionally up and down. He's just like robotic until the end of the round.
Well, it's crazy. He was very unanimated, but the thing I was texting you about, like, I thought Morikawa was going to win because Scheffler made some crazy shots on Saturday. And I'm like, there's no way that repeats. And he made some great putts on Sunday. He had the one, I forget what hole, but on the downhill. And he just had to hit it just perfectly, and he did. It was an amazing stroke. And Morikawa hit the water twice. And so his calmness, his like boringness ended up working, and where he was like, all right, well, just going to go ahead
100%.
Go ahead and win the Masters by being calm and hitting the shots. And DeChambeau, I actually like DeChambeau. I think he's interesting.
I like DeChambeau too.
But he collapsed, man. He got in his head. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw. You talking about on Sunday?
Well, Saturday started, but yeah.
I didn't see all of his round. I watched all the round on Sunday. I saw bits and pieces of his Saturday stuff.
Because he was in the lead on Friday at 6 under, and then he missed a putt halfway through on Saturday. And he was like, and it's like all of a sudden something snapped, and he lost the confidence in the putter, and he could not hit a putt he needed to the rest of the round. And then that spilled into.
He's so rigid when he's putting too, just because like his stance is funny.
He looks like Bowser in Mario Golf trying to putt.
No, he really does. I had a question about the LIV guys. I was back and forth on this. I was going to ask you, do you think, so like they play less tournaments now, and they also only do 3 days. Do you think that I would think they'd be more fresh, but do you think that 4th day, 100%, there you go.
There's Bryson DeChambeau. Put a little LIV Golf logo on there.
You think that 4th day is harder for the LIV guys, or it doesn't really matter? I mean, like, does your body get used to only playing 3 days, or you think they still go play the next day?
I mean, I think it's gotta eventually wear on you just because it's so intense. So Drew, our friend, shot a 78 one time. He's the only person I actually know who's broken an 80, which you're welcome for introducing you to golf, you douche.
Yeah.
But he was talking, he's just like, man, because he was texting me afterwards. He's like, it was amazing. I was dialed in all day. He's like, but I was so tired afterwards. I've never been more tired because the mental dialed in. And I'm like, that's just a rando golfer who had a great day, and that was still 6 over.
Right.
Can you imagine trying to be 6 under? Excuse me. So
4 days straight.
4 days straight of that level of mental. I think that's where Tiger would win, to be honest, was he seemed like he was on a different wavelength mentally all those years. Now his body won't keep up, but mentally he seemed like he wouldn't crack over 4 days where others would. So I think I think that's a big component in why we haven't seen more LIV guys win these tournaments. Now I realize it's also only a couple years old, but they've had several chances, and I don't know if have they won any yet.
I mean, other than because technically last year John Rahm was still PGA. He won the Masters. I think the one who's come the closest was Brooks Koepka, but no, somebody won.
Koepka won.
Was it the U.S. Open in 22 or?
I think so.
He won a major. Yeah, that was it. He's also gotten close in a couple other ones, because that was like, I think right after he had signed, and it was still like a sour taste in everyone's mouth. Mm-hmm. And then he won.
It's the PGA.
And it was like, okay, yeah. I remember the interview, the post-game interview kind of thing. It was awkward. Just because the commentators, you could tell they were like not excited that he won.
Great job, buddy. It's like when Chick Hicks won the Piston Cup from Lightning McQueen.
How's Liv over there?
Hi, SpongeBob.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of crazy favorite moments. I think Scotty being locked in mentally was just awesome to see. I would have liked to seen Max Homa.
Oh,
I kind of was rooting for him on the last day. And then, how do you say that? What's that guy's name? Ludwig?
He was balling.
He ended up finishing second. He's going to be great. And he was super relaxed, cheesing up, having a good time.
I liked him. Yeah, he was laughing with his caddy and everything.
Yeah. I think he's Swedish and I think he went to Texas Tech. That's what they're saying.
That's what get your guns up. I don't know. Whatever. I didn't go to college for that. Went for an education.
Yeah. But there we go. What you want to talk about history? What tell me about this history segment.
So I love history. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Is a famous saying said by somebody in history that no one knows.
Yeah.
But I just thought it'd be an interesting social commentary, kind of some things that happened last week in history. A lot of people do today in history or next week. I'm the only one I know of that's going to do last week in history. Little recap of the week that we have had and gone through together. So I'm going to read a little tidbit. If you want to make a comment on it, or I'll make some comments on the tidbits, we'll go from there.
Sure.
Let's see here. So April 15th, tax day, worst day of the year. It's where we pay the government not to arrest us.
Yep.
I got to say about that. That's April 17th. Did I go 18th to 7th? Which way did I go?
Today's the 18th.
All right. So April 15th in 1912, Celine Dion and the Titanic sank.
1912 was when the Titanic sank?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a buddy, Jake Fellers. If you're listening to this, I love you. He used to tell me...
That's April 14th, sorry.
His grandma's grandma or somebody was on the Titanic.
No way.
And I don't know if it was true or not, but we weren't fact checking stuff back then. This was 2000 or late 90s. So he was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. And then my family thought Steve Martin was our cousin, which we still think that. I don't know if...
Oh.
So...
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, allegedly. But anyways, those are my comments. What happened on the next?
You ever see the movie Titanic?
Absolutely. It was the first boob I ever saw on TV. It was the greatest moment of my life. I was 4 or 5, and I just remember looking over at the screen, and my dad was like, Casey, cover your eyes. And I was doing the whole...
Do a little slide.
I was like, whoa, that's awesome. That makes me feel different than anything else I've ever seen.
I heard this joke. This couple was watching a movie with their newborn, and a nude scene comes on, and the wife was like, shouldn't we cover his eyes? And the dad goes, he probably thinks it's the Food Network.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. The outro, the ending scene where they're going back through the boat and it's showing all the people who died essentially. That's a heartbreaker.
It's a powerful scene.
Gets me every time.
Confession, never watched it.
Wow.
I knew the boat sank. It sank in 1912. Why would I watch the movie? I already know what happens. No, I also skipped the Passion of the Christ. He rose again. Duh.
I saw that. I saw
Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ. We had the Titanic. It was one of those double VHSs. Yeah, it was that one where you got to switch the tapes in the middle.
That's when you know you're a 90s, 2000s kid, when you got the double VHS.
You switch the tape, you're like, yes.
Rewind it so we don't have to do it next time. It's too late. I already ejected it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What else?
On April 15th, 1865, President Lincoln died. So that's why we do taxes then.
61 to 65. I wrote that down a lot That was the Civil War dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my 7th or 8th grade history. I can't remember. You guys probably learned it in like 3rd grade, homeschool.
Homeschool, we were very big on wars.
Yeah.
The importance of everything. And yeah, we're very anti-slavery on this podcast. I want to go ahead and get that out right now. We're pro-Lincoln.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, just in case. And kind of on that note, not sure, but Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier on April 15th, 1947.
Wow.
Yeah, so big day there for
big time.
For that. On April 16th, Hitler calls for the last stand on the Eastern Front, so that's exciting. We're anti-Hitler on this pod as well. Just want to clarify that.
Yeah.
Cleveland becomes
that he may be a good basketball coach.
He probably would have made a good basketball coach. He'd been like you know how Tom Thibodeau for the Knicks and previously like real hard driving guy plays all his guys a lot of minutes. That's what I think Hitler would be. Mm-hmm. A lot of he doesn't do veteran rest days.
Right.
You know, we dump the ball inside, we dunk it. We always hustle on defense or I get you out of here. Also, random one, 1929, Cleveland becomes the first MLB team to play with numbers on the back of their jerseys.
Crazy. I wonder who started that.
Cleveland in 1929.
Was it just numbering the players, or was it like this represents me?
I don't know. I guess it was.
Did they do it? If they did it for their batting lineup, you're like, dang it, I'm in 6th. Like, whatever, middle of the pack. Or like, hey, I'm 4. I'm cleanup.
Let's see here. It's probably
pick your favorite number.
I mean, probably. It says to start, help identify players on the field. The Yankees apparently were the first team to use it commonly, but it was the old Cleveland Indians who did it. And in soccer, it was a lot of teams. They do it like that with position. Like if you're a goalie, you wear 1, or you wear 13. If you're the right back, you wear 2. If you're the center back, you wear 3 or 4. You know, that kind of thing. Okay. Oh, here's a good one. So who would you take, Charlie Chaplin or Kendrick Lamar?
Charlie Chaplin.
Are you a Charlie Chaplin guy?
Is that the right name?
Charlie Chaplin?
Yeah. Am I tripping? You talking about Tracy?
Not Tracy Chaplin. The guy with the mustache, the Hitler mustache, but not Hitler. The old-timey guy.
I'm blanking.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
He was born that day in 1889. Let me find Charlie Chaplin. He... I
got him now. Yeah, I see him.
He played in The Great Dictator. I don't know. This is one of the best parody movies I've ever seen in my life, where he plays a pilot who was German and Jewish, who looks a lot like Hitler. Because I guess people mentioned after Hitler rose to power that, hey, you look a lot like Hitler.
Right.
And so he, let me zoom in on this picture. Share this tab instead. So he actually did a movie where he accidentally switches places with Hitler. They end up in the same forest and they mistake him for Hitler. So they take him back and he becomes the ruler of the world kind of thing as they invade. And he's like, very funny movie. Very interesting social commentary at the time.
I may take Kendrick Lamar over him.
Well, Kendrick Lamar, he became the first rapper to win a Pulitzer Prize? Dang it. Why did my tab close?
Yeah.
Yeah, so on that day he became the first.
Was that with To Pimp a Butterfly?
I'm sorry, sir?
Was that with To Pimp a Butterfly?
I don't know. Actually, I should have looked that up. You tell me.
That was one of the... I would imagine that was it, because that was my favorite album of his. It was lyrically and the production was awesome. It told a story. You ever do listen to the Dissect podcast?
No.
I think they do it. They have a multiple episodes of that, and it's freaking insane. Like the layers and levels he goes through. I don't know if that's the one he won, but I do remember seeing that.
Huh.
And so allegedly he's having some beef right now.
Like What type of beef?
He's having a rap war with Drake.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like Kobe beef or...
Yeah.
But this day, it was April 16th, by the way. Kobe beef or Drake beef or Shaq beef. Those type of beefs.
Roast beef.
Also that day, which is April 16th, Martin Luther King Jr. writes a letter from a Birmingham jail.
Wow. There was a lot going on in April.
I know, especially that day, April 17th. Big day in the world. We're very pro MLK on this podcast.
Yeah.
Dang.
I love milk.
I have to go through that like every year. Not that I'm complaining necessarily, but every year we have to do a letter from Birmingham jail, which once again...
Speaking of that, MLK, that reminded me, I really enjoyed that glass of milk at y'all's house. It was incredible. I hadn't had a good glass of milk in a while.
Have you ever looked at someone and said...
Tell your kids thanks for sharing their milk.
I will. We have a friend, and they bought a lot of milk for a bachelorette weekend. And I'm like, that makes sense. That person looks like they like milk. It's not an insult. You just look at them and you're like, you like milk.
You're a milker. You drink milk for dinner, with dinner.
Yeah. Or like this one guy, he like picked the tomatoes off his pizza after I knew him for like that whole evening. I talked to him I was like, I don't know how, but I knew you didn't like tomatoes. Like I just looked at you like, you're not a tomato guy.
That's crazy.
You ever have those like intuitions of like, you hate vegetables?
All the time. Yeah. And it's kind of like, it's kind of shocking how me and my dad talked about this recently. You see people and you're like, dude, I've seen you before. Like I've seen versions of you. Like you fall into this bucket of type of person that's going to like these things. You're probably going to say this and act this way. And there's like only so many shapes and sizes of us.
There are. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
It's like wild. A doppelganger, but like there's also like, I think there's doppelgangers with personality. I think there's doppelgangers with mannerisms, not just looks. Because some people don't look the same, but their mannerisms are so similar. You're like, are you my older brother?
Yeah. You're like, you remind me of so-and-so in a very weird way.
Yep. Only one for April 17th that I found interesting was Benjamin Franklin died.
Huh.
Did y'all do any research? Did you ever do history class about Benjamin Franklin?
Yeah, we did. I mean, we did the whole thing where like, we brought a kite to school and did some lightning stuff. And then I think I dressed up like him.
Oh, really?
Like I had, yeah.
Hot.
Yeah. Glasses and stuff. There's an episode of The Office like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, where they they think they hire a stripper. But then it's like,
but it's a historian.
Yeah,
it's Benjamin Franklin, right?
I think it is Benjamin Franklin in that one. They're like, "You gonna get going or what?" And he's like, "What?"
Yeah, he's like, "Oh."
And then today in history, April 18th, we had Martin Luther remaining defiant and refusing to decant at the Diet of Worms in Worms, Germany, where he says, "Here I stand. I can do no other, and will not recant by believing in salvation by grace alone." Dang. And the other things he said against the Pope, which was a lot. He said a lot against the Pope.
Is that when he started to create, what is this thing, like 1910 or like the 100? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Something I sent it to my brother-in-law a long time ago. It's like Martin Luther's.
Oh, the 95 Theses?
What is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
This
so
one.
The 95 Theses was before that.
Okay.
And then that led to this. This is basically his trial where they're going to excommunicate him. And traditionally they would then, have the state execute him like they did with Jan Hus of the Hussites, which, as someone who's visited the Hussite church in the Czech Republic, I know that story pretty well. They're like, "Hey, come testify. We won't do anything." They testify, and they're like, "We'll see you later, buddy."
Yeah.
And so there.
Yeah, I remember reading those back in college. I'm pulling it up now. Yeah, 100%. I've seen that multiple times. Read through all this. Interesting stuff. Great guy, allegedly.
Luther or Huss?
Interesting. Luther.
Yeah, he's a
interesting human.
Someone who is very human. It's interesting, like, because I hate how history we dehumanize people to a certain extent. They're like, oh, he said this about this person. He must have been terrible. I'm like, bro, if you read all my texts without understanding how I felt that day or understanding how that person said this to me, you would be like, wow, you're horrible.
Right.
But like, which
context?
Yeah, there's a lot of context we just don't know. Like, why did he say this about this person? Or was he just like thinking off the cuff and said something that he like would later, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard when everyone's scrutinizing your every word without knowing a lot of things. So, yeah.
Interesting stuff. So, a lot going on this week in April in history.
Yeah. Episode 16, Peyton Manning.
I had something random I wanted to end with.
Let's do it.
I think I need to process this. I don't remember exactly what was going on. I had a crazy, like, active dream last night, and I think it was because I usually don't. I went to a happy hour, and then I got home, whatever, go to bed. So I don't know exactly what was happening, but I was like somehow like locked in this building with these people, and they were like trying to get me trapped or whatever. And eventually I get out of it, and I like am running from these people. They're like shooting at me, and I like get into an elevator, and I click like the 9th level. I'm like, I'm just going to go up to the top of this building and see what happens. And it turns into a roller coaster, but it's like one of those, you know, the thing that a gondola that you sit in.
I love the gondola.
And I was riding in it, and it felt like I was in there for hours. And it reached the point where I became like aware that I was in a dream, and I was like, am I trapped in my dream?
Oh,
I'm like, I'm trapped here. And like that thought went through my mind. It felt like for like 10 to 15 minutes. And I like was just sitting there. And I was like, I have no clue how to get out of this, but I'm trapped in my dream and I'm aware of it. And then I slowly like woke back up into the normal world. And I was like, felt so much relief.
If you ever realize you're in a dream, try to then just take off. Like the only time I've ever really realized it, I started flying intentionally and I could control it. And it was amazing.
Yeah. I think that my thought process was just start thinking that I need to wake up. I need to wake up. Because I think that's what I eventually did. But it was terrifying. I was like, I'm trapped in a dream right now. And I have no clue how long I'm going to be here. Like my mind was like, I could be in here for years and then wake up and it only have been a couple of hours, but the dream felt like it felt like physically like years.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could have been. So
that's crazy.
Hopefully nobody gets this far in the podcast to hear that part.
I had this most amazing dream that I had my Sally car on the Margaret McDermott Bridge. And then
now let me tell you. It was the most amazing dream. And then it hit me on the head. I love that. Is he still doing it?
Yeah, he's actually modified it because the car was chasing him on the bridge. Like it's starting to get more layers to it. So it's been very good. It's my son.
There's levels.
He just keep repeating the same dream over and over again. But I got to go to a soccer game. So I need to get dressed and go. But episode 16, Peyton Manning.
Yes, sir. We out. Peace.